So are Black Americans the new forgotten Americans under President Joe Biden? Here to respond is Virginia Lieutenant Governor-elect Winsome Sears. Winsome Sears, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations on your historic election. We saw this was going to happen, right?
Yes, we did, and we've been talking about it when we were on the campaign trail that in Virginia, we've been losing jobs, as a matter of fact, to our neighboring states. In fact, I just saw that, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that the Toyota plant is going to be going to North Carolina with all the jobs that come with it. Of course, about 3 or 4 months ago, Ford is going to be building a plant, a Ford F-150 pickup truck plant. It's a 6-mile-long plant they're going to be building in Tennessee, so Virginia lost that. But we're not going to be losing jobs anymore. We have a new administration coming in. We're going to get rid of certain business regulations that are keeping businesses from coming here. We're going to protect our right to work. In fact, we were about 1 vote away from losing that in the state, in the Senate. And so with the new administration, Glenn Youngkin's administration, we're going to be improving our job status here.
You know, I just got to ask you, we had a whole presidential campaign, and it seemed like there was such a emphasis on tone and emotion. No one really took the time in the media to look at the numbers, and Black folks were doing well. I mean, even the brothers that I talk with in Harlem talk about how they were able to create their businesses and they got their LLCs aligned. That was an actual conversation about progress and Black America, but it seems like we're going back in time right now.
Well, when you had governors deciding that certain businesses were essential and others weren't, mostly mom and pop suffered. And in the meantime, the big box stores stayed open. And then when you have, you've got to stay home with your child because the governors closed the schools. And yet it's interesting to me that private schools were able to figure out very quickly how to keep open while COVID was raging. And so the public schools were closed, but the private schools were open. And people had to stay home with the children. And so there we go. Businesses suffered. Policy is a darn thing. And if you're not careful, you can destroy a whole economy. And by the way, suddenly they figured out inflation does exist. It's not in our minds. Gas has gone up. Thank you very much. You closed the pipeline. Your first day in office, President Biden. And the food has gone up. We are paying more. You wonder, what are they not getting?
Lieutenant Governor-elect, I've been impressed with you, especially with you being able to talk with all different people and going out there in the community, and you talk about policy. We've seen policy from the Democratic Party. They want to let felons back out, people that are a risk to society, but you did something special. You went and visited your constituent in the prison. You said something that I thought was powerful. You said that they can't come out here, but you can come and visit them there. What did you mean by that?
Well, I'm Lieutenant Governor-elect, and I'm going to be sworn in next week as the newest Lieutenant Governor. And people in the prison are my constituents, and they can't come to me, so I have to go to them and see what's going on in their world, what are their needs, and I want to make sure that I also talk with the Department of Corrections officials, to find out what do they need as well. And so that's why I went. I am a former homeless shelter director, and I have been a prison ministry leader for 2 years. I went to a men's prison every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. I gave the message of hope, and it blessed me to bless them. So I was at St. Bride's Correctional Facility out in Chesapeake, and you might see this little thing that they made for me. They're learning so that they can be better than when they went in. And so they're learning electrical skills, plumbing skills, they're learning AutoCAD, they're learning so many different things. If they don't have a GED and they want a GED, they can get it. We need to encourage more of this. Why? Because we don't want them to leave the same way that they came in. We want them to be productive members of society. We want them to be the mommies and daddies that their families need. We don't want to keep paying about $32,000 per inmate per year to house them. No, we've got to make sure that they're much better than when they went in.
Virginia is a mess right now. but it looks like help is on the way. Lieutenant Governor-elect, thanks so much for joining me tonight.